They connected with each other. The math teacher all of a sudden saw a reason to connect with the art teacher. I'm teaching geometry. What have you got? Well, we can do something with patterns, with natural patterns. And I wanted to get the kids outside anyway. I talked to this art teacher. She said we went out to the back field and we collected rocks and leaves and all kinds of things. And we came back and we were able to work out something that was in direct relation to the geometry teacher. They connected with the kids. The kids were bored to tears with the scripted basal reading program that they had on a middle school level. And the language arts teachers said, we think that the kids will read more if they love reading. So they wanted to put the basal away and actually do a great books program, do something with the finest children's literature novels. And the principal went to bat for them. Went down, I talked to him, he went to the district office, he said, you know, it was the school district itself that was the biggest hurdle for us to get through. We have a curriculum director who picked that basal reading program. They were very upset at giving up their authority, but they slowly were able to do it. The principal believed in the plan, and he fought for it, and that made the staff believe in him. And they did connect with the parents. I met one of the parents. She had several kids in Westside Middle School. So I said, okay, 5 years ago when you had your older kid here, what was it like when you walked in the building? I want to know what really changed. And this cloud came over her face. And she said, I hated walking in this building. When I walked in this building, people looked at me like I was annoying them or that I was invisible. And I said, okay, let's move off that. And what's it like today? And she smiled and she said, I own these bricks. When I walk into this office, somebody asks me if I want a cup of coffee. She said, when I walk into the office, the school secretary stops what she's doing and comes over and smiles at me and asks me how she can help. That didn't just happen. The collaboration group on parent relations said, we've been so caught up in feeling disrespected ourselves and we've been in a bad mood for 10 years, and the parents don't know we're on their side. It won't take a federal grant to smile. And they all got together and they talked about what can I personally do when I see a parent walk into the school to let them know we love you and we want you to be here. They decided to have a community open house every single year on Saturday with games and prizes and music and art shows and lots of smiles. And kids come with their parents and even their grandparents, and they get to know the teachers in a very different atmosphere, drinking a Coke and having a donut. I talked to two of the kids. One was a special ed kid. He wore a suit and tie. And they said, he didn't wear that for you. He wears a suit and tie every day. And he was just rattling on about how good a student he was and how much he was learning and where he was going to go when he grew up. I met the other young man, an 8th grader who was probably one of the most articulate human beings I have ever met. I said, okay, Mark, what changed for you? He said, well, last year I got 10 suspensions. Wow, as a 7th grader, 10 suspensions. I said, oh, so you having a better year? What's going on this year? He said, well, last year I talked to the counselor and she asked me what I wanted to do, and I said, well, I'm going to join the Army. So she talked to me about going to West Point. And this year they have this new thing called wampum bucks. And the teachers and the school staff and the principals and even a lot of the parents that volunteer, if they catch you doing something good, they give you a wampum. He said, I have 417 wampums, and it's just November. He said, but if I'm going to get into West Point, I have to show that I have a lot of self-discipline, and I have to get really good grades. This kid is going to West Point. Test scores are up, fine. It's not my favorite indicator, but it's one. Absenteeism is down. Tardies are down. Homework completion is up. Parents showing up to school events is up off the charts. Incidences of school disruption and violence have all but disappeared. Teacher and staff morale is up. Teacher attendance, ESP attendance is up. They are working as hard and as many hours as they have ever worked, and every single person I talked to said they would not move from that school for $1 million. Our members work in some of our toughest neighborhoods. Politicians will go into some distressed community of poverty, unemployment, discrimination, language barriers, a percentage of parents in prison, hunger, lack of medical care, daycare, dental care, crime, corruption, lead paint on the walls leading to infant brain damage, and they will get up on a soapbox and they will declare that they are going to do something about this by finding the bad teachers who aren't getting those test scores up. And I've been in the room when I've heard the public applaud something that absurd. This is not just a nice thing to do if you get the time, to put the community on your side. It's not just a nice thing to do to know the research, to become the authority who can say it in English about what's working. And you need to be able to explain when someone is lying. It's not just a nice thing to do to nurture your own turnaround priority schools and to be able to point to your own West Side story. There are West Side middle schools all over this country that nobody knows about. Sometimes we don't even know about it because our members are modest and they don't brag about just doing their jobs, but there are quiet little miracles of innovation and dedication all over this country. And I know that there's Manitowoc, Wisconsin, there's Helena, Montana, there's Seattle, Washington, there's Hamilton County, Tennessee, there's Putnam City West High School in Oklahoma, and the list goes on and on and on because you've told me you've got to come and see this school. These are our members. This is real whole child reform that is union-led. We should be busting our buttons over what's happening in our schools. Union-led transformation of evaluation systems and instructional models and learning communities. Hope is not a strategy. You have to organize for it. We are Finland, and our hope lies in our human beings. We represent the Clark Kents of the world. We wear our spandex inside our day clothes. But Clark Kent really is Superman. That's what's on our side. Ellos son nuestra esperanza. These people are our hope. And we've got to show off our Clark Kents. We've got to show off our superheroes, the heroes that our members have always been, the heroes that our members will always be. And for their sake, we will leap tall factory reformers in a single bound. Go, fight, win. Gracias.